I don't know if the same is happening at your house, but for us, this has been a record-setting year for cooties in our home, like of every brand name and variety. So not only did we experience our first broken bone at the end of 2022, we also had our first RSV and bronchiolitis, ambulance ride, hospitalization. We've had our first bouts of COVID. We had our first bouts of strep throat. And now we've got the flu. I say we, the collective we in our house. And one, if you haven't heard me mention this in another episode, like all of this just does make me so thankful, well, for so many things, from actual medical professionals at every stage, from the pharmacy to the paramedics to the nurses to the doctors to the people scheduling appointments and putting us on wait lists and helping get us in sooner and all of that, to then also our local village here where we moved back to my hometown to be able to be near my parents and sisters. While, of course, certain things people can't like physically step in and help, just even doing a porch drop or just checking in, all of those things have been so valuable. And none of these things have quite taken us out as they could have, like I just feel very aware of and very thankful for that. I'm recording this while it's still fresh that my son has the flu. And so I'm in like adrenaline mode because when I got that call from the school nurse, like, he's got a fever and chills, can you come pick him up? Then you're like, okay, let's go. Let's get a swab. Let's get a test. Big brother just had strep. What's going on? And I'm sharing this with you because in these times, in a moment where it feels like everything is happening all at once, especially if you have more than one child or someone that you're caring for, or even pets, like there's just so many logistical pickles to manage at one time. It's been very helpful to me, and I've done it more in the last, handful, several months than I ever have in my life, to just consciously be like, one thing at a time. Like, what is the one next micro nano baby step? So for example, when we pulled onto our street and we parked, and I had my 2-year-old and my 7-year-old, and then we've got bags, we've got water bottles, we've got folders, we've got kids, like everything that needs to just, how am I going to get all of this from inside the car to inside the house? And even little things, air quotes, little things like that can feel overwhelming when your system is just trying to process all this information and you're caregiving for other people, right? So in that moment, I was like, okay, the papers that are in the front seat need to get into my hand, and then I'll put them in the bag, and I will just do one thing at a time. Then I'll put my bag on, and then I'll get her out of her car seat, and I can set her down and she can walk, like literally just one thing at a time. And I also remember doing this whenever I called it cootie camp, when we all had COVID and my husband was gone for work over a school break. So everyone's home, they've got COVID, I've got COVID. We're just like, and it's like one thing at a time. I'm just going to put this thing back where it goes. And then I'm going to put this thing back where it goes. And I know you think it too, but I'm anchoring it in here for if and when I need to refer back to this one day, or maybe you need the reminder today, but like when we're feeling so overwhelmed by the sheer depth and breadth of things that need to happen, that are like actual urgent or emergent, in some cases, needs, if you could just get enough space to be able to remind yourself to take a breath and then just think literally one thing at a time, it could help, because that's all we can do. Like, yes, ultimately we're multitasking because, again, especially with the like multiple kids, I'm like, holy moly, I don't know that I ever really thought this through. I mean, I'm thankful every one of them exists, but especially with the cooties, it's like one gets something, and then it's a slow roll. Oh, now another one's got it. Oh, nope, that's actually something different. So now the other one may get this one, and it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage, and caregiver burnout is absolutely a thing. And I have another episode I'm going to record speaking to the value of like, it's not optional. Like, self-care is not a fluffy bonus nice to have. Like, when we're responsible for caring for other people, you got to take care of yourself, because otherwise, it's the whole oxygen mask thing. Anyway, that'll be another message. All I wanted to anchor here is like the one thing at a time. philosophy of just reminding yourself just one thing. I will get to all of those other things, but right now it's just, what is the one next thing that's within my control, literally and figuratively within my reach, the one thing that I can do right now. And then I will get to that when I get to that. I will cross that bridge when I get to it. I love the meme that goes around, and it's like, and I know I've mentioned it in another message, like, well, if it isn't the bridge I said I'd cross when I got to it, but that's it. There will be time for all of those other things. But in the meantime, all I need to do is pick up the papers and put them back in the bag. And then I'll get the lunch kit and put it back in the backpack. And then I'll unbuckle this kid. And then I'll unbuckle that kid. And then we'll worry about what we're eating for lunch, but like we're not there yet. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we are here. And this is the one thing. So what is that one thing for you? That is such a teeny tiny micro baby step. Just focus, just like, whoop. Okay, this is the one thing that I can do and that I need to do. Everything else can wait. Even if it's only waiting for half of a second or 2 seconds or whatever, let it wait. Focus on the one thing. Take a breath. You're not alone. You are not alone. I hope this helps you. And if y'all have been going through your own, everybody does. We all have our own health challenges. But I know from the doctors and nurses that I've heard, this has been just an extremely challenging, especially with respiratory viruses season, probably because we were all bubbled up and now we're making up for lost time collectively. So here's to hoping that all the immune system upgrades from this year support us and strengthen somehow for next school year. But when ish hits the fan and stuff doesn't go as you plan necessarily with health and childcare and stuff, like, check back in with me, baby, because there will be lots more to come, both in the Naptime Empires book and also in this podcast, because that's been my life for the last several months, and we can swing it. That's what a sacred Pomodoro is for. So anyway, all right, sending love from there. I hope you and yours are healthy today whenever you're listening to this. And yeah, I'll meet you back here soon. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, 1, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and 2, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.